Right now, you're watching the assembly of Land Rover vehicles at the British Solihull Plant factory. Vehicles from this manufacturer have been produced here since 1948. This is how body parts for the Range Rover Sport and Land Rover Discovery were stamped in 2009. Around 2010, the Solihull Plant was producing roughly 160,000 vehicles per year. At the Solihull Plant, the body in white, the stage where a car's bare structural frame is assembled, is welded primarily using highly automated robotic systems in the welding shop. By the mid-2000s, after major aluminum body shop upgrades, Solihull became one of the highest volume premium SUV plants in the UK. Right now, you're watching different types of welding robots are used depending on the material. Steel panels are mainly joined using resistance spot welding, while aluminum panels are welded with laser welding or joined with self-piercing rivets because aluminum behaves differently from steel. The robots are mounted on 6-axis arms, allowing them to move in multiple directions to reach complex shapes. They follow pre-programmed paths with millimeter-level accuracy. A typical body in white can have anywhere from 300 to 500 weld points, depending on the model and its complexity. The 2009 Range Rover sits in what some enthusiasts consider a relative sweet spot in the L322 generation. Later build improvements helped reduce some early model faults, and many owners believe that with proper maintenance, the vehicles can be more dependable than older years. Despite its drawbacks, many owners who enjoy owning one emphasize the feel and character of the Range Rover, the substantial presence, off-road ability, and premium interior, which keep them enthusiastic about the SUV, even if maintenance isn't cheap. You can now see how the finished TDV6 engine was mounted to the Range Rover's chassis. This was followed by a process called the marriage. It was a critical step in the assembly line, combining the powertrain and the body to create a complete, drivable vehicle. This process had to be extremely precise, as all engine mounts, transmission connections, and suspension points had to align perfectly to ensure proper performance and safety. On this main assembly line, workers manually installed the seats and complete interior fittings inside the vehicles. This production process has changed very little over the past 16 years, and cars are still assembled in the same way here today. TDV6 stands for turbocharged diesel V6 engine. This 3-liter engine was widely used in the Land Rover Discovery 3, Land Rover Discovery 4, and Range Rover Sport. Most of these vehicles were assembled at Solihull. This is how the wheels were mounted on Range Rover vehicles using a pneumatic torque wrench, tightening all 5 bolts at once. The same method is still used in this factory today. In 2009, Land Rover introduced the upgraded 3.0-liter TDV6 diesel engine across several key models, including the Land Rover Discovery 4, the Range Rover Sport, and the facelifted Range Rover. These vehicles, including TDV6S variants, were assembled at the Solihull Plant. Production of the TDV6 versions at Solihull ran from 2009 to 2016 for the Discovery 4. From 2009 to 2013 for the first-generation Range Rover Sport, and from 2009 to 2012 for the L322 Range Rover TDV6 models. Right now, you're watching how the Land Rover Defender was manufactured at the Solihull Plant. The classic Defender, built at the Solihull Plant in the UK, was in its final full production year in 2015. According to production records, about 21,800 Defenders were manufactured that year, before the line closed in early 2016. This is how British factory workers assembled the Land Rover Defender chassis. First, the individual parts were stamped, then welded, and finally polished and riveted together. The Defender was a very popular vehicle globally, especially among off-road enthusiasts, farmers, explorers, and military users. Interest surged in 2015 because it was announced to be the final production year, and demand jumped as buyers wanted one of the last classics. In the UK specifically, new registrations were around 8,674 Defenders in 2015. Every Defender combined approximately 8,900 individual parts in its build process. Typically, before the final year, one production shift made around 84 vehicles per day, but during 2015 output was increased to about 125 per shift to meet extra demand. After a 67-year run of continuous series and Defender production at Solihull, the classic Defender was nearing its end in 2015 due to new emissions and safety regulations that made continued production there unviable. Demand surged partly because buyers sought one of the last classic Defenders ever made, with many destined to become collectibles. Some private collectors even snapped up entire fleets of 2015 Defenders, anticipating their future value. This is body and white polishing. It involves refining the surface of the welded sheet metal before painting. Polishing the Defender's body in white smooths out welds and imperfections, ensures paint sticks flawlessly, helps prevent rust by eliminating moisture traps, and guarantees panels fit perfectly for lasting strength, even under tough off-road conditions. Once the body in white was completed and passed quality inspection, it was painted and then stored in the main warehouse inside the British factory. While the body was being prepared, a durable and robust chassis was being assembled in another part of the factory complex. Gradually, other components were added, such as brake discs, axles, and eventually the Defender engines. As you can see, the workers always operate in coordinated teams, each focusing on specific tasks. At every workstation, there is a responsible worker in charge of ensuring the quality of the work performed. This is the assembly of the 2.5-liter TD I4-cylinder turbo diesel engine. The classic Land Rover Defender, including the 2015 model, was known for its rugged, reliable engines designed for off-road durability rather than speed or refinement. The assembly began with a robust ladder frame chassis, onto which the axles, suspension, steering components, and drivetrain were installed before the body was lowered, a method that ensured extreme durability and off-road capability. Unlike modern mass-produced SUVs, many parts of the Defender were assembled by hand, particularly in the chassis, body, and engine installation stages. The Defender was designed with modular construction. Body panels, chassis, and engine components could be swapped or repaired independently. Each Defender passed through strict quality checkpoints at every stage: chassis, drivetrain, body, and interior, with a responsible worker assigned to each workstation to ensure Land Rover standards were met. Even minor cosmetic imperfections were corrected to maintain the brand's rugged yet precise reputation. Before the finished vehicles were moved into the illuminated LED tunnels where the paint quality was checked, the vehicles were sprayed with water. The Solihull Plant emphasized a combination of automation and human craftsmanship. Inspectors ensured that the Defenders met both Land Rover's standards and the ruggedness expected from its off-road reputation. This is the Jaguar Land Rover Solihull Paint Shop in 2018. The paint shop is a cornerstone of vehicle production. Once the body panels are formed and welded, the car body undergoes meticulous steps of surface preparation, cleaning, spraying, and curing. These processes ensure a flawless finish that withstands weather, corrosion, and the test of time. Modern automotive paint processes typically include phosphating, e-coating, and multiple layers of base and clear coats, all baked in curing ovens, a process that usually takes an entire day per body. Every vehicle spends many hours in the paint shop, passing through over 20 individual processes, including cleaning, primer, base, and top coat applications, and final inspection before moving on to trim and final assembly. Paint shops like Solihull's use advanced robotics and precision systems to deliver extremely consistent color, gloss, and corrosion protection across every car. Robots help apply paint in carefully controlled patterns to reduce overspray and waste. This is essential for premium finish quality on luxury models. In 2018, the Solihull plant was preparing for production of next-generation vehicles, including new versions of the Range Rover and Range Rover Sport, which meant it needed flexible manufacturing and paint capabilities to support different body styles and finishes. Right now, you're watching the door sub-assembly before it is delivered and installed in the cars on the main assembly line. Inside this Land Rover Solihull factory, around 80,000 Range Rover vehicles were produced in 2018. The doors are always finally installed at the end of the production line. The reason is to allow factory workers to easily carry out assembly work inside the vehicle. The current process you are viewing is the assembly of a large panoramic roof on Range Rover vehicles. In 2018, more than 9,000 employees worked inside this factory, making it one of the largest automotive manufacturing sites in the UK. The vast majority of them worked and still work on the main assembly line. The Solihull plant in the UK remained the main production site for large Range Rover models, where body construction, painting, and final assembly took place. Jaguar Land Rover had invested millions to upgrade these facilities to handle flexible manufacturing and future models. Higher-end Range Rovers rely extensively on aluminum construction to reduce weight and improve performance, fuel economy, and structural strength. This means the body shop needed specialized techniques, many rivets and adhesives rather than traditional welding, to handle aluminum effectively. With demand for different variants and finishes, manufacturing lines in this era had to be flexible, capable of switching between different models and layout options without slowing production. Robots, automated guided vehicles, and advanced conveyors were all part of this automated environment. Surveys and owner feedback frequently rank Land Rover, including Range Rover, below the industry average for reliability. with electrical problems and suspension faults among the most commonly reported issues. One UK survey found that nearly half of Range Rover brand vehicles experience a fault within the first few years of ownership. Repairs and servicing can be significantly more expensive than for mainstream brands, with some owners caught off guard by high repair bills. Routine maintenance for advanced systems, like air suspension and electronics, can quickly add up. However, certain models, such as the Range Rover Sport, have fared better in reliability surveys than the full-size Range Rover from the same period. Mid-life refreshes, like those around 2018, are often considered the most dependable of their generation, particularly when well maintained. Right now, you're viewing the customer acceptance line, where vehicles undergo dyno testing. In recent years, annual UK sales have consistently ranged between 75,000 and 82,000 vehicles, highlighting continued strong demand for British-built Range Rover and other Jaguar Land Rover models.